Hello everyone! Today I'm here to review the brand new Nox Driver right here! What? This is not the Nox Driver? What do you mean? It have everything. It have the Capsem on top, it spins. How's this not the Nox Driver? Oh, it's the blue and orange one. Okay, I see. Give me 1 minute. Is this the correct one? Yes? Alright, I guess it's a Nox Driver. Well, let's go and have a look at the box first then. Now, before we move on and look at the Nox Driver, let us have a quick look at the box. On the front of the box, you'll see Kamen Nox himself, the Nox Driver, and the Shadow Capsem, the one and only Capsem included in the box. You also see the DX Nox Driver logo right here. Moving on to the next side, you will see Kamen Nox in his entirety right here, alongside the Shadow Capsem up here, the Gun Capsem down here, and the Wolf Capsem. Moving on to the next side, you will see the instruction manual on how to play with the toys right here. Feel free to pause the video if you want to have a closer look. Moving on to the next side, you will see Kamen Nox in his 3 different forms, which are Kamen Nox, the Gun Shadow, and the Wolf Shadow right here. Moving back to the front and quickly to the top, you will see the Nox Driver alongside the Shadow Capsem right here. And back to the front. Once you open up the box, what you'll get is the Nox Driver itself alongside the Shadow Capsem, the one and only Capsem included in the box. Now, let's go and have a closer look at the Capsem first, followed by the Nox Driver. Now let us look at this year's alternate collectible, which are the Nox Capsem, this one being the Shadow Capsem. Looking at it from the front, you will see this black button right here. This is what allowed this Capsem to interact with the Zeztz Driver, since it lacks the ability to spin. By pushing it, it actually caused a little piece on the side here to pop out. I'm not sure how well you can see it. Right there. This is what allows this Capsem to interact with the Zeztz Driver. And now let us look at all the detail on the front right here. Now, some people have also mentioned the fact that this actually kind of looks like a doorknob, which is an interesting design choice and it's very relevant to the show. Now, if we move to the side, you'll see the seam here. The reason for this is because this Capsem can actually open up. Now, I'll just show you the detail a bit closer. And the other side. Now, if you move to the top, you'll see this button here. This is the button that allowed the Capsem to open up. Right here. So by pushing it, it will cause the Capsem to pop open. Like so. Now, let us take a quick look at the back side here. You will see that there are the set of pins here that allows it to interact with the Zeztz Driver. But more interestingly, there's a little hole here. This is actually what allows it to interact with the Nox Driver. I'll bring in the Shadow Capsem for comparison with the Erase Capsem in a moment. And this is the design on the back right here. You'll also see the hole in the back here. This is what allows the light to shine through in the Nox Driver. Now let's get to the comparison segment. First we have the Erase Capsem right here. And if you look on the back, you'll actually see the similarity between the two, where this one have a gap there, and the Erase Capsem also have a gap there. This is what allows the Nox Driver to read it, since the Nox Driver does not use the same pin set as the Zeztz Driver. On to the side. And let's have a quick look at the bottom. And a quick look at the top. Now I'm going to bring in the Impact Capsem for comparison. This is the impact capsem on the front, on the side, on the back. And interesting to note is that since the normal capsem does not have any hole at all above where the pin are, I'm not sure how well you can see it right there, there's no hole at all. This means that every single capsem makes the same sound inside the Nox driver. As you can see, no hole. And now let's take a quick look at the bottom side. And to the top side. Now I'm gonna have a quick look on the inside here. Now you won't really be able to see much, so I'll probably just bring a screenshot of the actual Nox driver up over this. But on the inside here, maybe you can see sort of a little bit. I'll just describe it. The design on here is on this side, you will see Nox Knight running, and on this side you will see the design of the Shadow Nightmare right here. That's the first two set, and then once you transform, the picture you'll see will be that of Kamen and Nox performing a rider kick. Now we get to the Nox driver. Now let us get onto the star of the show, the Nox driver itself. On the front side you'll see what appears to look like two Capsem sockets, when in reality you can actually put this Capsem on the right hand side, or at least right hand side from looking at it this way. This other side here is only designed for the Nox Capsem when it opens up. Now let us have a quick look on the inside. You'll see the two LED on the inside right there, alongside with the pin system that is needed to read the Nox Capsem right here. You may notice that the pin system is actually higher. That's because of the fact that the Nox driver does not read the same pin as the Zeztz driver. It uses a different pinhole location instead. And if you look on here, you'll see the locking tab that allows the Capsem to be locked in place, and a little piece here that push open the Nox Capsem, and that's about it for the front side. Oh, I almost forgot, there's also the little speaker right here. And then if we move to the top real quick, you'll see this little button up here. This is what allows the Nox driver to unlock and rotate, like so. You'll also see the Capsem release button right here. And now let us have a quick look at the back side, where to some of you Kamen Rider collector, this might seem rather familiar. It actually looks kind of similar to the Zeztz driver because of the rotation mechanism. Here you will see the battery compartment for the 3 AAA batteries, the on and off switch right here. Let's hear that again, but from the front. Where is it? There it is. It's a little hard to grab with gloves on. Got it. And let us quickly move on to the strap. This strap is identical to that of the Zeztz driver, except it's simply in silver. And the similarity continues all the way. Even the buckle is exactly the same, just in white. Strap on the back, also 100% identical to the Zeztz driver. So same adjustability and same sizing right here. And that's all there is to this driver. Now let us get to the play feature of this belt. Now that we have seen all the gimmicks and features of the Nox Driver, let's get to the final conclusion, starting with the pros, and then the con, followed by the final score. The first pro is that this is a pretty cool looking belt. The design and the way it looks is pretty cool. Moreover, this feels like a natural evolution of the animation in the gimmick item idea. Instead of a flipbook style animation, the Nox Capsem uses pictures printed in different colors to create animation. The second pro is the fact that it is possible for adults to wear this belt too. Since the Nox Driver share the same strap as the Zeztz Driver, the strap can be adjusted from approximately 55 cm to 105 cm, or about 21.5 inches, to about 41 1/3 of an inch. Moreover, since part of the strap is made out of nylon, it is possible to find a replacement relatively easily. This means that even if the belt doesn't fit you, you could modify it pretty simply. Another thing of note is that the strap is essentially identical to that of the Zeztz Driver, but instead of being clear, it's now silver. So you no longer have to worry about it yellowing over time. But you will still have to worry about it cracking over time. That's just a normal problem that comes with rider belt. It is also worth noting that since the belt strap of the Nox Driver is identical to that of the Zeztz Driver, it is possible to remove the strap on the Nox Driver and stick it onto the Zeztz Driver. However, doing so will mean that you will lose the light up strap that you get with the Zeztz Driver. Now this leads me perfectly to the first con that is also shared with the Zeztz Driver, which is the fact that the belt strap is not removable. As you can see, it's not removable. This means that if this part of the belt became damaged in any ways, finding a replacement or finding a way to fix it is going to be rather difficult, because you have to disassemble the belt and you have to find something or someone who can make your replacement part. And now, I want to move on to the second con, arguably the biggest one with this belt, which is the price point. According to Bandai official website, the Nox Driver is priced at around 6,380 Japanese yen, or around 41 US dollars, while the Zeztz Driver is priced at 6,930 Japanese yen, or around 45 US dollars. This means that the price point of these two are very close to each other. Being priced so closely to the flagship Zeztz Driver significantly hurt the value of this belt. However, it is important to note that the Nox Driver itself isn't overpriced. The problem is with the Zeztz Driver. The Zeztz Driver is actually priced cheaply. Because normally the flagship belt will be priced at around 50 US dollars, the Zeztz Driver is actually priced at 45, making it quite a bit cheaper than the normal Main Rider DX belt, while $41 is actually considered the average price for a secondary Kamen Rider belt. This also leads me perfectly to the third con, the playability of this belt. The secondary belt will inherently have less playability than the primary rider belt. That is the norm that Bandai have set for a very long time. Normally, this is something I would consider as a minor con. However, this problem is made so much worse in this case because the prices are so close to each other. For context, the Zeztz Driver have around 60 sounds programmed into it. This is based on the information of those who have hacked the belt, while the Nox Driver only have 8 sounds built into it. This one-two punch of the Zeztz Driver being priced cheaper than the average Main Rider belt, and the reduced playability that is normally associated with the secondary rider belt, just became a crippling blow for this belt altogether. Like the great Ron Popeil once said, but wait, there's more. There's one more con that I want to bring up. Now, I want to preface that this is more speculative. The third con is that using a normal Capsem on this belt might actually damage it or even break the belt. Let me explain. First, let me remove this thing first. If you look on the inside here, you will see this little plastic piece right there. This is what allows the belt to pop open the Nox Capsem right here. That piece pushed on the top button allowing the capsem to open. Now here is where the problem lies. If you look on top of the erased capsem, you will see a flat top design. This allows that little piece to move just a bit, but still not all the way through. And if you look on a normal capsem, you will see a rounded top design. This design actually prevents this piece from moving altogether, meaning that I fear it might actually break either this piece or part of the internal mechanism. Have a listen for yourself. Here is a normal shadow capsem included. I'll move it closer to the microphone. No crunching sound. Now I'm going to swap out for the impact capsem and have a listen. I'll roll away. I don't know how well you can hear it, but you can hear the sound inside, and I am genuinely concerned that doing that repeatedly might actually break the internal part of the belt. Now, I'm not sure how much this will be a problem, but I believe it is an important point to bring up, because this entire belt is advertised to be able to work with normal capsem too. But as you can hear from both the sound that I just did a second ago and from the segment before, you can see how much of a crunching sound it does. And the main problem is just that this piece is just not allowed to extend at all. So when this piece couldn't extend, the mechanism essentially hold itself into place in ways that I feel rather uncomfortable with. Now I'm going to rapid fire some minor cons. The first one is the shadow capsem itself. It looks very bland when you play with the Zeztz Driver. Compared to a normal capsem where you get an animation when you play with the Zeztz Driver, the shadow capsem, you just get a button. That's about it. Another thing I want to say is the Nox capsem feels less fun compared to the normal capsem. The normal capsem, even without the belt, you could just spin it and just watch the animation. Meanwhile, this one, there really isn't much to it. Even if you open it up, you really wouldn't get any sort of animation of it because you need the belt to do that. So to me, this feels like a little bit less fun, or quite a bit less fun compared to a normal capsem. Last pedantic, this is very pedantic on my part, is the fact that the Nox capsem is spring-loaded. Now, why would I consider this a con? Well, if you want to store the capsem, the Nox capsem, in the best possible condition, you should keep it in the open position. That way the spring doesn't stretch out and it becomes floppy over time and lose the ability to pop out properly. So if you're a collector like me who wants to keep it in the best shape, this is the best way to keep it. And now, let's get to the final score. I am going to be very honest, I had a pretty hard time deciding on the final score for this belt. But ultimately ended at a 4 out of 10 and a suit yourself recommendation. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this is not a bad belt per se. It is definitely cool in its own right. But its biggest hindrance comes from the poor value compared to the Zeztz Driver. The Zeztz Driver being priced cheaper than a normal average main rider belt just makes this one looks like a pretty weak recommendation. And it makes it so much harder to recommend this belt. So this is how I will conclude this review. If you enjoy Nox as a design, as a rider, I would say go and get this belt, but you need to know that you will get way less playability compared to the Zeztz Driver. Or if you already have the Zeztz Driver, this would be a pretty cool addition to the collection. But if you don't really like Nox or don't already own the Zeztz Driver, I feel like you should just get the Zeztz Driver first. And then if you like this one, then get it. If you don't, I would say it's an easy skip on my part, because $41, $45. 60 sounds, 8 sounds. That alone is basically the main consideration when it comes to this build. As such, I decided to give a score of 4 out of 10. One more factor that leads to that score is the playability. This build is what I would classify as an average playability. You load the gimmick item in, you transform, you activate the ability, you activate the finisher, and that's about it. And that concludes this review. So to summarize, final score of 4 out of 10, I would only recommend this build to those who like Kamen and Nox or already own the Zeztz Driver. For those who does not own the Zeztz Driver yet, I would say go for the Zeztz Driver first, and then the Nox Driver maybe later if you like it. And that concludes this review of the DX Nox Driver. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and come back for more Kamen Zeztz review. Good night everyone. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.